Hello friends and welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. In today's video, I'm going to close out my budget for the month of February. So let's start with debts, payments that were made to debts. I had one debt payment this week for $71 to loan number 2, and that came out on the 24th. Moving on to bills. I had several bills come out this week. First of all, Alliant Energy came out, and it was much higher than I budgeted. I budgeted $50 and it was $151, and that was because we had those below freezing temperatures for several days, and it made a big effect on that bill. Next is Netflix, and that was $20, and that came out on the 24th. And then Logan's homeschool bill came in, and that was $32. That is for his online homeschool program that he's currently doing. It's $32 a month. Okay, for food this week, I had one trip to Walmart for $121, and that was on the 26th. And then for gas, I did have to get gas again this week. I got it last week, but I had to get it again this week because I didn't get a full tank last week because it was below freezing, and it was like -30, and it was so cold last week. So I got another tank. It was $36 to fill the full tank, and that came in on the 27th. I should say that happened on the 27th. Okay, I did not have any miscellaneous expenses this week. Logan has already been paid this month, and I did not have any entertainment expenses. So let's head over to the worksheet and see how everything worked out. Coming up here to my income. So I already did my full-time job, budget and actual. I was budgeting that I would need $930. Let's come back to that at the end. I actually, altogether, my side hustle income was $1,606 this month, but I don't know exactly how much I needed for the budget and how much I'm going to have for my bonus. So let's do that at the end after I figure everything else out. So we'll come back to that. Okay, so Alliant Energy, I budgeted $50, but it was actually $151. Netflix, I budgeted $17, but it was actually $20, I believe. Yeah, it was actually $20. So I need to make sure I change that next month. I'm going to put a star here to remind myself to change that amount next month. State Farm did not come out, so I didn't pay anything to State Farm this month, which means next month I'm going to have a payment at the very beginning of the month, and then I'll probably have a second payment at the end of the month. That just happens every once in a while. There's some months where I don't get charged at all, and then the next month I get charged twice, once at the beginning, once at the end. Okay, homeschool, I budgeted $32, and that's exactly what it was. And loan number 2, I budgeted $71, and that's exactly what it was. So I'm going to add all of this together and see how much I actually spent this month on my fixed expenses. $19.26, which was a little bit above budget. My budget was $18.98. So my income, well, actually, I'm not going to do the income part, the leftover part yet, until I know my total income for every category. So let's keep going. Let's move on to variable expenses. So I actually track these week to week right here in my weekly check-in. So for food this week, I spent $121. For gas, I spent $36. I did not spend anything in miscellaneous, and I did not spend anything in entertainment. So $121 plus 36 is $157. So I spent a total of $157 this week. So for food, I had $375 to start with. I spent $121. So I was left with $254. For gas, I had $58 in the budget. I spent $36, so that is $22 difference. So I still have $22 left in that category. Now these two categories were negative. So let's see how I did overall this month, whether or not I broke even or whether I ended negative. Let's find out. So 254 plus 22 minus 169 minus 55. Ooh, I ended on a positive note. I still have $52 left for my variable expenses. That's great because I was over in these categories. So I'm glad that that worked out nicely. Well, let's go back to the worksheet and write all of this down. Okay, so to calculate how much I spent on food, I had a budget of 800. I ended with 254 left. So 800 minus 254 is 546. So I spent $546 on food this month. For gas, I had a budget of 80. I had 22 left over. So 80 minus 22 is 58. So I spent $58 on gas this month. Okay, so let's do miscellaneous. I had a miscellaneous budget of 100. I spent all of that plus another 169. So I was over budget in miscellaneous by $269. I mean, I actually spent $269. I spent the 100 plus another 169. So I actually spent $269. That's quite a bit over for miscellaneous. Okay, entertainment. I had a budget of $220. I spent an extra $55 on top of that. So $220 plus $55. I spent $275 on entertainment this month. So I was over budget by $55 there. So I'm going to add all of these up together and see how much I actually spent on variable expenses this month. $1178. Okay, so my budget was $1230. Altogether, I only spent $1178, so I was still below budget. Even though I went over in some categories, I was under in others, so I was still below budget there. Okay, so let me see how much I spent. I spent $1178 in 1926. So I spent $3104. I made $2348 with my normal job, my full-time job. I haven't done savings yet, savings goals. I'm just thinking if I want to put money in my savings goals or not. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put down the money I made in my side hustles. I'm not going to divide it between side hustles and side hustle bonus. I'm just going to cross that off. I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to do my side hustle income as $1606. So all together, let's put this number down so I don't forget, 3104. Okay, so all together, 2348 plus 1606. So all together, I made $3,954. I'm still working on house repair, so I do want to put some money towards that. But I spent $3104. I still have 150 here, so let me see. Okay, $3954 minus 1926. That's 2028 left. 2028 minus 1178. That is 850. So bringing that up here to my savings goals, I can definitely put 150 aside of that for my savings goals. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 850 minus 150 is 700. And that is the amount that I'm going to put towards house repairs. Okay, so that is it for my February budget. I am going to make a separate video going over my side hustle income. I share all of my income from my 3 different side hustle sources, which is YouTube, Patreon, and Etsy. And then I also share all of my expenses with you guys so you can see how I got to 1606. And that will be a separate video coming sometime in the future, very shortly. But here we are for this month. So this month is over. The next family budget video I make will be my March setup, so that will also be coming out soon. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to head to the end of this section, this budgeting section. I'm going to fill out one more page for my budget closeout, and that is where did my money go, monthly budget category breakdown. So first I need to write my budget categories. That's these here. So it's debt, bills, food, gas, miscellaneous, Logan, entertainment, and savings. Okay, so for debt, I need to separate these out because debt and bills are two different budget categories for me. So let me quickly do that. I'm going to do that by highlighting my debts in pink and my bills in purple, and then I'll know how much I spent in each of those categories. Actually, even faster, I'm going to go back to my calendar and just add the pink stickers together and then the purple stickers together. That'll be even better. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start with debts. So I had a mortgage payment here of $673. Loan number 2 for $71. That was it for week 1. For week 2, I had this one for $71. Week 3, I had this one for $71. And week 4, I had this one. So altogether, I spent $957 there. I still need to go back and figure out what I budgeted for that, but that's what I actually spent. So then my bills, those are the purple ones. I had $10 here, and $15, $55, $103, $41, $20, $347, $175, $20, $32, $151. So $969 there. Okay, now I do need to go back and look at the worksheet because that's where I have my budget amount is on the worksheet. So I still have to highlight those to see which ones are which. Oh, I did not do this accurately because doctor and hospital, those are debts and I have them down as bills. I'm just to keep everything consistent, I will consider them bills this month. But those should actually be debts. You know, I just had a thought. I could make my life easier and just count all of these as fixed expenses and not separate them into bills and debts. Although it is good to see what goes to bills and what goes to debts because eventually I want to decrease my debt amount so that I don't have so many debts. So maybe I won't split them up. Okay, so let me start with debts. So my mortgage was exactly what I budgeted, and so were all of the loan number 2 payments. So that's actually accurate, $957. Okay, so bills was not accurate. It was different from my original budget. So we had 55, 13, 42, 348, 203, 20, 41, 50, 17, 110, 32, and 10. So $941 was the budget. And I was over by $9.69. Interesting. So here there's a difference of 0, and here it's $9.69 minus $9.41, or $9.41 minus $9.69. So I was over budget by $28. So it's over by $28. Okay, moving on to food. I budgeted $800, but I only spent $546. So I was below budget by $254. Okay, coming over to gas, I budgeted $80. I only spent $58, so I was below budget here by $22, I think. Yep, $22. Okay, for miscellaneous, I was way over budget. I budgeted $100. I spent $269, so I was over budget by $169. Logan, I budgeted $30. That's how much I gave him, so that is a difference of 0. Entertainment, I budgeted $220. This month I ended up spending $275 on entertainment, so I was over budget by $55. For savings, I budgeted $150. That's how much I actually spent. So I was under budget. No, I wasn't under budget. I was exactly even, so that's 0. Okay, coming up to my income, my starting balance was 0. I earned $39.54 this month. Didn't have any other income. I didn't use any of my savings. I guess I could do this as like my full-time job and my side hustle. Maybe I'll do that so I can look at the two separately. Okay, so my earned income from my full-time job was $23.48, and then my side hustle income was $16.06. So altogether, that was $39.54. Okay, it is time to check and see what percent of my total monthly inflow went to each category. And if you ever forget how to calculate that, she does put the formula down here to help remind you. But what you do is you take the total amount that you spent and then you divide that by the total monthly inflow, and that gives you the percent of total monthly inflow. I also like to multiply that number times 100 just to see what the actual percent is. It's just easier for me to see it that way. But you could skip the multiplying times 100 if it's easy for you to tell. See, like you might be able to look at that and see, oh, that's 24%. But for me, I just want to make sure, yeah, it's 24%. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and calculate the rest, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you all the totals. Okay, so as far as bills go, 25% of my income went to bills, 14% of my income went to food, 1% went to gas for my car, 7% went to miscellaneous, 1% went to Logan, 7% went to entertainment, and 4% went to savings. So that is it for my February closing of the month routine. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And I'll see you again next time. Bye, everyone. Feel away with life in envelopes. Plan your days. Plan your days. Plan your days. Get those stickers placed. Feel away with life in envelopes. Plan your days. Plan your days. Plan your days. Get those stickers placed.